can keep mingling. So, is everybody enjoying their time here at the beautiful Parklab Gardens? Yeah! Did we get lucky with this weather or what?
Definitely.
Raise your hand if you have an open hand. If you have enjoyed some food tonight.
Oh, not yet.
How about a drink? Raise your hand if you've met someone new. All right, very good. But we're going to continue that process. So we're going to take 12 seconds, turn to somebody that you don't know, and introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi, I'm John.
I'm Christy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Are you just videotaping for your own phone?
I actually blog for an American blog called The Agent, so I've been following Andrew since.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. So
if you can hear me, clap once.
Your first time meeting
If you can hear me, clap twice.
Great.
I used to be a camp counselor in high school. Thank you for letting me do that. So now it's time for me to introduce myself. Doggy is excited. My name is Sara. You may have gotten an email from me. Oh, thank you. You may have gotten an email from me this morning. I am pleasured to serve Common Sense Party as their Northern California Regional Coordinator. But enough about me. Tonight's not about me. Tonight is about all of you. Maybe you're here because you feel disengaged from politics today, and I get that. Maybe you're here because you feel engaged, but nobody's listening, and I get that too. Maybe you feel like people are listening, but whoever hears you, whoever you vote for, nothing seems to change. Does that sound like a relatable story to anybody? Well, I promise you that there is a better way. There is a new way that instead of capitalizing on fear and anger, it takes up opportunities in optimism, curiosity, and, dare I say, common sense. Woo! Isn't it so sad? Like, common sense should not be controversial, people. So, I'm going to introduce our first speaker of the night, but before I do, I want to share a little story about him. So, in September of 2021, I attended an event in Mountain View, California. And our first speaker of the night was at this event as well. And I don't know if he remembers this, but I made a promise to myself that night. I said, Sara, if you have the courage to go up to this individual and shake his hand and ask for a photo, then you're gonna tell him something really important. You are gonna tell him that you are running for office in 2022. And then guess what, Sara? You're gonna have to do it. So, I gathered all my courage, I marched up to this person, I shook his hand, I got a picture, and guess what I told him? I said, hey, thanks to your inspiration, I'm actually running for office next year. And he said, you know what? We want to support you. So because of his inspiration, his enthusiasm, and his support, I did run for office last year in 2022. Thank you. And I did not win. That's okay. Because I did something better. I learned a lot about politics today. And I learned that our system isn't only difficult for voters to navigate, it's difficult for candidates too. And we deserve better. And today, thanks to all of you, we are starting better now. So without further ado, I would love to introduce, it is quite the honor to introduce, our first speaker of the night, someone who can engage the disengaged, someone who makes sense of politics through math. Like, how was that even possible? The wonderful former presidential candidate, Andrew Yang.
I'm so happy. Let's give it up for Sara, everybody. How many of you have run for office? See, Sara can put her hand up. It's great to be back here in San Francisco. One of the first big rallies of the presidential campaign was right across the street. How many of you were here for that rally? I gotta say, so we were running into all this traffic on the way there, and it was like, what's with all this traffic? And then we saw a Yang sign in the window of one of these cars, and my campaign manager was like, holy shit, that's our traffic. So San Francisco will always have a special place in my heart, in part because my parents met at UC Berkeley, not that far from here.
Go Bears!
Bears.
Go Bears!
My brother's named after the Lawrence Hall of Science, so we used to joke that my parents must have gotten busy there. But I probably owe my existence to the Bay Area, plus I get mistaken for being from here all of the time. Which I took as a compliment, I gotta be honest. Because I'm gonna let people on a secret, West Coast Asians have a little extra something. You know what I mean? So I was like getting mistaken for a West Coast Asian. I was like, I'll take it. My team was like, what's this California tech billionaire Andrew Yang thing? And then my wife was like, where's this $1 billion you keep talking about? I was like, oh, no, dude. It's great to be back here in California because this is really one of the most important battlegrounds our democracy has right now. People don't see it as that. But I think everyone here today actually is evidence that there's something afoot here in California. California's, let's call it a one-party state. Now, I was a Democrat for a long, long time. But right now, the way I translate my own political ideology is like, I just want good things for humans. I just want good things for humans. How many of y'all want good things for humans? And what I realized at some point over the last number of years was that our system right now is making it very, very hard to deliver good things for humans. And when you ask someone in this system why it is, what you'll generally get is something of a blame game. It's like, hey, you know why you can't deliver good things for humans? Those people over there, like whoever those people are. And California is such an interesting test case because this is a state that is run by one party, and there are a lot of folks of any party here in California who don't feel great about what's being delivered for human beings here in the state. One of the people that's been fighting like mad to do something about it is the person I'm going to bring up here in a moment, Tom Campbell. So people think I've done a number of things in my career, and I have. You know, I've run a company, I started a nonprofit. I became this accidental presidential candidate because I had the bright idea that we should alleviate poverty at scale, and that if someone ran for president on that, you know, I could advance the meaningful end of poverty by X years. And I thought, well, that's a pretty freaking great way to spend a few years of my life. And my wife said, it's like, hey, as soon as you raise your hand and say we should get rid of poverty, someone else is going to take that idea. And I was like, well, fantastic. Because that would mean that maybe we do it. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, thanks. Little Marco Rubio call out here. So as varied a career as I've had, my friend who I'm going to bring up next has done everything under the sun. I think there was a point when he was the youngest law professor in the state of California at Stanford, which is not that far from here. Was a state legislator, member of U.S. Congress, and now he's the chair of the Common Sense Party of California, trying to bring common sense to the Golden State. My friend Tom Campbell, come on up, Tom.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you all for being here. Governor Whitman, thank you for being here. Senator Todd, I'm going to bring up in just a moment. But first of all, for me, this is a homecoming. I used to represent the area in the peninsula just south of here, and it was a privilege for me then, and it's a delight to come back home. So I've learned to say go Bears and also go Cardinal, and I hope I haven't missed anybody. If so, I'm totally in favor of your team and your educational institution. One of the important things to realize is that we don't have to settle. We don't have to take what has been given us when we know how to improve things. So just think about what a remarkable blessing we have here in California. I'm an immigrant to California. I was born in Chicago, and I had to come across the Rocky Mountains. I remember it was a covered wagon. It was very difficult, but we managed. And I kissed the ground when we arrived, and I'll tell you, every time I come back, I kiss the ground. Think about California for a moment, and how much we have. We've invented Silicon Valley. We produce more than a third of the entire fruits and vegetables that the entire country consumes right here in California. We invented film in Hollywood. And we're in the 19th century with our political system. This does not fit. So we have such energies. People come here from around the world, making us better because they come from around the world, making us a better place. And yet we present them with, welcome to California, you have 2 choices and only one of them really matters. We can do better. So here's what we've done already in California. We have nonpartisan district lines, so that's an improvement. We have top 2, so that everybody runs at the same time and you get 2 candidates, and the result is you can choose between those 2 in November. Of the 80 assembly districts, 14 were Democrat versus Democrat. Okay, I understand that come November because that's the demographics of the state. But I'd like to support a Democrat who thinks for herself. I'd like to support a Republican who thinks for himself. I'd like to support somebody who doesn't just take the list of approved positions from the party and then has no choice but to adopt them all. One of the things I found out is you've got to be 100% or the party won't endorse you. And if the party doesn't endorse you, you are finished. Because top 2 or not, the organization of the party structure controls in California. So here's where the idea of the Common Sense Party came along. If we create a new party, a party for the rest of us, we don't insist that you take a position of any particular view, so long as you take a well thought out, intelligent position that reflects your own conscience. How can that be wrong? Instead of saying, well, I better take this view or I won't be supported by the regulars of this party. So I discovered one thing else. I discovered that the political system in California, for all of our success in other areas, is like the town I grew up in, the city of Chicago. There is one party and they run it through a financial system. The financial system is as follows. If you have the support of the party and you're running for the state legislature, you can raise 9 times as much money from an individual donor as if you're running independent. Very few people realize that, but that's how the parties dominate California. So here's the solution. Common Sense Party. Common Sense Party will come into existence when we have 73,000 registrations. We will then be able to equalize any independent who's running. If it's a common sense Democrat, a common sense Republican, a common sense, that's our candidate. And so when people ask, what do you stand for? I say, we stand for the rest of us. We stand for individuality. We stand for people who have the courage to take their own positions based on what they believe to be right. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do it with your help. 73,000 registrations is what's needed. We presently have 30,000. By the first week of October, we need to have 73,000 so we can participate in this coming election in 2024. We will get there, and we'll get there with your enthusiastic support. That's how it's going to happen. Now my privilege to introduce Senator Quentin Kopp, but before I do, I just want to conclude. I began by saying how far ahead we are. I was finance director of the state of California under Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I learned a few facts. When I was finance director, California was the 7th greatest economy in the world. We are now the 6th. You see the effect of me no longer being finance director. But think about it for a moment. We're number 6 biggest economy in the world. Surely we can have a 21st century political system that empowers individuals instead of parties. That's what we're all about. And now I want to tell you about a man who had this idea long before I did. He was the last independent member of the state senate. He was a state senator for 3 terms. Before that, a supervisor of the city and county of San Francisco. And after that, served in the judicial branch as a judge of the Superior Court in San Mateo County. Judge Quentin Kopp, Senator Quentin Kopp, Supervisor Quentin Kopp is well known to San Franciscans. He is an icon. And when I joined the Senate, there was a journal, Cal Journal existed, that rated members of the state legislature. And I was pleased to join the state Senate, and particularly to be company with the gentleman rated as the #1 state senator for integrity and the #1 brightest state senator. My friend, my role model, my mentor, Senator Quentin Kopp.
I wish my parents were alive to hear that. And failing that, my wife is listening intently. I plead guilty to having been born and bred in Syracuse, New York, as a New Deal Democrat, with a mother who at 32 was the first woman ever elected to the Democratic County Committee. And since 1949, or as of 1949, I was a registered Democrat, including the years in which I succeeded in a nonpartisan election of being elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and being chosen by my colleagues twice as resident of the board before the iniquitous district elections at a time in which we ran citywide and knew every part of the city and were obligated to serve all the people in all the neighborhoods of San Francisco. But after criticism from the San Francisco Democratic County Committee, which twice adopted resolutions condemning me for sponsoring successful ballot measure initiatives under the California Constitution, in 1985, I decided to become an independent. And by chance, the state senator decided not to run again in a district which included San Mateo County, as well as half of San Francisco. And I became the first non-incumbent independent to be elected to the legislature since 1874. And I made a reference, thank you, and the first ever, and still in the history of California, to be re-elected as an independent once, and then a second time before term limits compelled me to ask the then governor if I could be appointed to the Superior Court. And during the first term in the state Senate, I thought what California needed was a real third party, not the American Independent Party of one-time Alabama Governor George Wallace's initiative, and not the Libertarian Party, which is kind of, to me, a niche party, but a Bear Flag Party. And I was dissuaded from attempting to do that. I embraced the common sense party concept when Tom Campbell, who I think, even though that magazine didn't vote it that way, the smartest person I ever served in either the county governing board or the state legislature with. I am delighted by his leadership of our effort to be certified by the Secretary of State so that we can function as the party for people who've had enough of a one-party state. And if you're in San Francisco, of course, even though it's nonpartisan, it's all Democrats, and they infest City Hall, and would you believe it, they fall prey to the human vices of corruption. And just today, one of the city commissioners was charged with not disclosing that she was acting as a lobbyist, as she lobbied another department of government of the city and county of San Francisco. we're an honest party, and we're going to continue to be an honest party. And we're going to be open to debate. And after we're certified, an adoption of a party platform which reflects our independence from the stale dicta of the two major parties, the Democratic and the Republican Party. And I am exhilarated by the turnout of people here tonight and for the attention conferred on us by my friend, Dean, Professor, Senator, Congressman Tom Campbell, who has led us through difficult years in the pandemic, but I see the promised land. And that promised land, as Tom says, will be October. And I thank all of you for showing your desire to participate in honest government, which practices what politicians preach in terms of serving the people of the great state of California.
Thank you, Quentin. Let's give it up for Quentin. All right, San Francisco, that's the vision, and now we need your help. How many of you are registered to vote? Yeah. Now, you should definitely pretend on that one, unless you're under age 18. How many of you are registered to vote with the Common Sense Party of California? All right, so you see the people have their hands up. You all are the awesome early adopters, the champions. Those of you who are registered to vote in California but not registered with the Common Sense Party, here's what we need you to do, and it's super easy. Go to cacommonsense.org and then follow the links and then change your voter registration. And you know the greatest thing about it is that after you do this, how long does it take?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Time yourself. If you did 3 minutes, you're smart. 5 minutes average. More than 5 minutes, join another party. So 4 minutes, and then X days later, you're going to get in the mail a voter registration card saying CA Common Sense. It's like your membership club, membership card into the group that's going to save democracy here in California. So raise your hand if you're going to do what I just said and go to cacommonsense.org and change your registration. Fantastic. So you do that, and then tell your friends, be like, hey, I changed my voter registration to this new party. And they'll be like, new party? You can do that? It's like, oh yeah, you can do that. We're almost halfway there. We get to 73,000 October, we get certified, and then, oh my gosh, there'll be a new party in the state. And now if you go to your Democratic, let's call it Democratic here in San Francisco, go to the Democratic leaders and say, hey guys, you know, we'd like you to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe they'll actually have to listen to you. Because right now they can just be like, well, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you know, you gotta vote for us, there's no one else. You can't vote for Republicans here. And they're like, oh, how about we vote for this common sense thing? Because the person just wants things to work better. You know, again, just wanting good things for people. So raise your hand if you have a lanyard around your neck and you're superpowered and have like volunteer status. All right, so if you have your hand up right now, then if you go to someone who has their hand up, then they can tell you all about our efforts, and we would love for you to volunteer also to help sign people up. This is the easiest thing. It's like, hey, just sign people up, and then get us up to 73,000. I'm gonna be honest with you all, we have to actually probably get to like 85 or 90,000. You know why?
Yep.
Because the parties don't exactly love it when new parties show up.
Right.
So what they do is they'll go through the signatures and be like, that's not real, that's not real. John Lynn's not a person, John Lynn's not a person, or whatever the heck. So to be safe, you probably need like 90, 95,000. Do you think we can do that, San Francisco? Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Because I sense that the hundreds of people who are here today, you know what? You have friends. You have family members. How many of you have friends or family members that are fed up with the status quo? And just let them know, look, you want real change, you want to stop griping and do the real actual thing, just take these 4 minutes, get your voter registration card changed, and the worst case scenario is that there will be some competitive pressure to deliver for the people of this great state. That's what we need. And that is what we are going to make happen together, San Francisco. Let's give it up again for Tom, Quentin. Going to bring common sense to California, and then after common sense arrives here in California, then you all can vote to potentially join the Forward Party nationally. But first things first. This is so fun. This is like, to me, the great unreported stories. People like, so many people in California are like, it's impossible, can't change it. This is the path, and we are going to blaze the trail for millions to follow, not just here in California, but around the country. Thank you all so much, San Francisco.
So, who's registered for Common Sense Party? And by, let's say, Sunday night, who's gonna be registered for Common Sense Party? All right, let's go. So, there is one other thing, though, that you can do to help us out. And it's a little bit fun because it's also a friendly competition with SoCal. So, why just register yourself to vote when you can be a multiplier of thousands and get everyone else to register to vote as well? How do you do that? You do that by being a Common Sense Party volunteer. So we have QR codes on these little cards that you were probably handed when you checked in, and if not, that's okay. Find a volunteer staff member wearing a lanyard just like this one, and they can help you. Scan the QR code, sign up to volunteer. It is that easy. We are willing to take whatever you're willing to give. And here's the fun part. We're in a race with LA to see who can get more volunteers. And I'm pretty sure that we can get more volunteers. Is that right, Northern California? So one more huge round of applause for Andrew Yang, Tom Campbell, and Quentin Kopp, the backbone of this new party. The intelligence behind this new party. When people say, how is this possible? Look at the support that we have. Look at these amazing minds. So, that's not where the amazing minds end. We have more incredible, fantastic, talented leadership coming to talk to you in about around 7:30. Until then, get some more food, get some more drinks, meet some more people. We're gonna turn the music back on, have fun, register to vote. Hey, you can do it from your phones now. And we'll see you right back here around 7:30. Thank you all so much. Did you enjoy your little intermission? Can you hear me? Great. So I'm going to want everybody's attention for this next speaker because she really deserves it. But first I need to ask you guys a question. Are you getting a little bit chilly? Yeah, me too. But don't worry. We're going to warm you up now with this absolute ray of sunshine that we are bringing to the stage. I had the honor of meeting our next speaker, like not that long ago, honestly, but the energy is infectious. This woman's leadership in political reform and representation is unbelievable. She is the Forward Party's newest CEO. Please introduce to the stage Miss Lindsey Williams Drath.
Are you all having a great time? This is incredible. We are going all over the country and looking at crowds like this. People are ready. This country is ready. I am so excited to be here and so honored to be serving as the CEO of the Forward Party. Thank you to our co-chairs, Andrew Yang, Governor Whitman. Thank you, John Pimentel. Congressman, thank you so much for your leadership here in the state of California. I want to start off by talking about logistics because we're getting really, really smart questions. And right now, the truth is, the status quo in this country has created a political system to confuse everybody. It is hard to break the system. It is hard for new parties to be created. It is hard to run independent candidates, and that's on purpose. The two-party system has created a really high barrier for entry. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all about our relationship between the Forward Party and Common Sense Party of California. What John and Congressman Campbell did was really remarkable. They created a new party here in the state of California, and they made great progress. They registered almost 30,000 voters with a brand new inclusive party. But we need a little gas. We gotta go a little faster, okay? And we are working across the country at the Forward Party to do just that. And so we have come together to merge our efforts. But the reality is, right now, we gotta play by the rules of the status quo. And the rules of the status quo and the Secretary of State is that they already have a name. It's the Common Sense Party of California. And they are our friends, and we are aligned in our efforts there. So what we are asking you to do today, and I think Sara asked this question earlier, how many of you all are registered to vote? How many of you all are registered to vote with the Common Sense Party of California? All right, more hands. We need more hands. So what we're asking here today as representatives of the Forward Party is for you all to go and register as voters with the Common Sense Party of California. And that is what the Forward Party is working together on. So we are so, so grateful for your support. You'll see a bunch of us with volunteer lanyards around here. If you'll have questions about that, let us know. But we're doing everything. We're gonna break this duopoly. We're gonna do it. And one of the most incredible leaders around the country driving to break this duopoly, you know her as the former governor, first female governor of the state of New Jersey, head of the EPA, a champion for the environment, a champion for democracy, Governor Todd Whitman.
Thank you, Lindsey, very much. And thank you all for being here, especially for staying when it's getting a little chilly. But, you know, have some more wine. There's lots of it there in Sangria. I just want to say, you know, I grew up Republican. My parents, my grandparents, I've been a Republican all my life. And in 2005, excuse me, I wrote a book. It's called It's My Party Too. But I wrote that book because I was worried about what was happening to the Republican Party. It was going in a direction that was not representative of the way I was brought up. I was brought up at a time when you talked to one another. What batteries? They can't hear me in back. Okay, can you hear me in back now? All right, now you can hear me in back. I was brought up at a time when people worked together. When I was a governor, I didn't know whether I was sitting next to a Republican governor or a Democrat governor because we just faced the same issues and we shared stories and we did things together to solve problems for people. But in 2005, when I wrote the book, when I left the Bush administration, I was concerned because I could see what was happening to the party and to our country. I do think that we worked well when we had two parties that were centrist, when the people would talk and work with one another. It can happen, but it's not going to happen the way these parties are going now. They like things just the way they are, and that is they control, and you get choices that and you end up voting for the least worst person on the ballot. Yeah. And part of that's our problem, because as voters, we have not been voting in primaries the way we should. It's been left to those who are the most extreme, so we have an obligation. You know, democracy doesn't ask a lot of us, but it does ask us to be slightly informed and to vote. And we need to do that. But to tell you how strong the party control is, after I won my re-election for governor, I was asked to run for the U.S. Senate. Didn't really want to do that, but I was told that the Democrat wouldn't run if I ran, so the Republicans needed a seat. I went down there, and I had a meeting with the head of the senatorial campaign committee, and he looked me in the eye and he said, if you even mention campaign finance reform, you won't get a penny from us. I said, that's it, I'm gone. I don't play this game this way. I can't imagine a party doing that. So this is what you believe. This is how you have to vote. You can't think for yourself. Well, that's not solving any of our problems. And I think we all are here today because we recognize how badly the system has gone awry and how important it is to take it back. But it feels frustrating. People don't think they can. They don't know how. This is how. Common Sense Party of California is the way to start it here in California. The Forward Party is the way we're doing it across the country. And we're going to surprise them. I mean, they're going to be at our throat. Don't mistake for a second that the minute the parties know about what's happening and realize how serious we are, that they aren't going to try to stop it every way they know how. But we are the people of this country. We control this government. They work for us. We got to remind them that. They work for us. And they darn well better start doing it. But they're not going to do it if we don't tell them, and we can. There is a way to do this, and we're providing that way. Common Sense Party of California is providing that path. Forward Party is providing that path. We owe it to ourselves. I have 7 grandchildren. I really worry about the world in which they're going to come up. I worry because I watch these two parties who don't want to solve issues. They don't want to solve them. They like to use them to excite their base so they can get more votes in the next election, because that's all they care about. That's what our founding fathers warned us about. They were very concerned about parties. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they worried that what would happen is what's happening, that parties would become more important than policy, that people would just care about what's going to get me the next vote in my re-election, what's going to get me stronger, not how do I solve your problem. And we've come too far. We're too great a nation. We're too incredible a country to allow this to happen to us, and we're the ones who can stop it, and in fact, we're the only ones who can stop it. So all of you tonight, it's really important. Register for the Common Sense Party of California. Go online, but you know, we've heard it before, and it's still true. All politics is local. You'll be surprised how much influence you can have when you say to your friends and neighbors, hey, look at this. Look at this opportunity we have all of a sudden. It's new, it's different. I've registered for it. Common sense, how can you go wrong with that? Let's start to talk about it, and let's start to make a difference. And that's what you all can do. Don't think you don't have the power. You do. Even if it's just within your family or your neighborhood. And then get them to talk to people. We all know people who aren't registered. So before it gets any colder and the sun goes down anymore and the bar might close up, I don't think it's going to close for a while. So I think you're safe. Okay, the bar's not going to close for a while. Let's walk away from this feeling the power that's in this group. Look around. Just look around for a moment. We have people from all walks of life, all ages, all ethnicities, and we all want the same thing. We want our country back. Let's do it. We can. And let's do it right here. Starting in San Francisco, we'll be in Los Angeles tomorrow. We'll get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Whitman. Don't go anywhere yet. Congressman Campbell, John Pimentel, Andrew Yang, Sara, have everybody hop up here.
Okay.
We're going to get a picture. Team photo. If there's not a picture, it didn't happen.
Sorry. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Oh, Quentin.
All right. Come on up. Watch yourself.
Just a couple more obligatory photos, and we are coming down.
Okay, good. Woo! Common sense forward! Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Have you guys ever heard the phrase, representation matters?
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. It's amazing to see men, women, people of all walks of life getting involved with Common Sense Party. This is what it's all about. If America can send human beings to the moon, we can start a new party, and we will. So, we are a team. Actually, that's rude. Can someone take this? We are a team. And what do all teams have? Maybe all teams don't have them, but we're going to pretend for tonight that they do. Teams have a chant. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start a chant. I'm gonna first teach you the chant, then we're gonna play a little game. Repeat after me. A new kind of party.
A new kind of party.
What are we?
A new kind of party.
Okay, step one complete, great job. Now, I'm actually going to be controlling your volume. So when my hand is down here, you're gonna shout, just kidding. You're gonna whisper, you're gonna be quiet. And when it's up here, you're gonna be loud and you're gonna be proud, okay? Let's just practice once more. What are we?
A new kind of party.
Very good. What are we?
A new kind of party.
What are we?
A new kind of party.
That is right. Round of applause for yourself. This is the Great American Experiment. We are experimenting and I am loving it. Thank you guys. We have a couple more final words at the end of the program, but for now, continue to enjoy yourself. Keep each other warm, penguin huddle. Make new friends, and we'll see you back here, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and break. We're a team. Remember that. Thank you. We can eat, drink, and be merry. So let's become a party, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, with that, I'm sure you're like dying to know, okay, so you guys have like talked for the whole night, but what do I do? Besides obviously register to vote. What else do I do? I got you. I actually have a list of homework assignments for you all today, and I even put on my glasses so that I can make this all nice. Okay, so step one. You should all have, and if you don't, that's okay, we'll get one for you, a small half sheet that looks something like this. Thank you. Like that. On the sheet, there happens to be a QR code. And that was no accident, ladies and gentlemen. That QR code is what enables you to pass the threshold into volunteer land for Common Sense Party. And if you join us and volunteer, then it's so great for two reasons. Reason number one, you will be a multiplier for Common Sense Party. You will help us reach the 73,000, possibly 95, maybe 150,000 registered voters to become a real party. But the second reason, and arguably the more important reason, is because we are in a competition with LA to get more volunteers. And they have an event happening just like this in less than 24 hours. So like, we love our SoCal counterparts and everything, but we have to win this thing. If you weren't about winning and if you weren't about competition, you probably wouldn't be at a political event right now. The second action item I have for you all is actually going to be very fun, very informative, and you can do it from the comfort of your couch or your bed or whatever place in your home that you want. So this Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Zoom, Common Sense Party is having the first of its kind statewide Q&A info session Zoom meeting. You are all welcome. Just RSVP on our website, cacommonsense.org. Hop on into our Zoom if you have any questions about the logistics, about the structure, about what does Common Sense stand for, what is it all about. Come join our statewide Zoom meeting. We will tell you. It's going to be happening this Wednesday, 7 p.m. What day? Wednesday. What time? 7 p.m. Where? Google Meets. Just kidding. Zoom. Number 3, we have some really incredible like booths and tables and representatives here at the event tonight, one of whom is Cal RCV, that is California Ranked Choice Voting Coalition. They are at the back. They are all dressed in purple because purple is a blend of red and blue. I don't know, maybe that's why, but it's a really beautiful symbol. But go talk to Cal RCV. I'm sure that at this point you've all heard of ranked choice voting, but like, what does it mean? Why is it good? Is it even happening? The answer is yes, actually. The city that you're standing in right now has ranked choice voting. Yeah. Woo! But like, maybe a lot of people don't even know that. So go learn more about ranked choice voting. We also happen to have a table with paper voter registration forms. So if you would like to, change your voter registration right now, and you don't want to do it like online, you can do it right here with us. We will coach you through the process. We have a voter registration form up in the air right now. This kind gentleman is holding it up for you all to see. That's where you change your voter registration status. And don't worry, You're not abandoning your values by changing your voter registration. You're just coming home by changing your voter registration, okay? And the last action item that I want to leave you all with, oh my God, public transit, am I right? Woo! How many of you took public transit to get here today? Oh, so good. Parking is expensive in the city. The last action item that I have for you all tonight before I hand off the mic, raise your hand if you know someone who's eligible to vote, maybe not registered, maybe yes registered, but they just don't vote. Maybe you were once that person, maybe you still are. A lot of people don't vote, and it's not because they can't, it's because they don't think that their vote matters. And like, it does matter, but like, we haven't seen that much good change recently, so I don't blame them for feeling that way. But you can tell them that their vote does matter, that they should vote, that small little grassroots candidates across the nation need their vote, but also that there is now a party that cares about their vote, and it cares about what they care about more than its own self-special interests, and that party is the Common Sense Party! That is so great. I'm so proud of you all. You've learned tonight. So, one more kind of FAQ. When you change your voter registration, it's a little bit interesting. So California actually has several other parties as opposed to, just Democrat and Republican. So you change your voter registration online, you scroll down the list. What is your, party preference? Democrat, Republican, American Independent, Green, there's actually a lot of parties. You're gonna skip to the end and write other, check. And then it says, specify your party preference. You have to write the words, common sense party. If you don't write those words, then it doesn't count. If you choose to embellish it by saying something like, the wonderful, fantastic common sense party, then it doesn't count. So you have to write you have to write common sense party. See how easy it is to accidentally mess it up? So don't. But if you do, that's okay. You can change your voter registration again. But we only have until October, so do it tonight. That's all my action items for you guys, okay? So change your registration, encourage people that their vote matters, scan the QR code, Let's Beat LA, statewide Zoom meeting happening this Wednesday. I have to say, I was nervous for tonight, but you guys have been the most incredible crowd ever. You guys make me feel so enthusiastic about events like this in the future, but more importantly, about the future of our party. This is the future of our party, and I'm inspired, humbled, and I'm so, so grateful. Thank you all for having me tonight, and without further ado, I'm going to reintroduce, for the last time, Andrew Yang.
Yeah! Thank you, let's go over Sara. Thank you, Sara. When the Forward Party was launched 18 months ago, some people said, hey, it should be purple. And I was like, really? Send me some data. And then they sent me some data saying purple was people's third favorite color. And I was like, well, what the heck's the first favorite color? What's the first favorite color? Red. Blue. It's the second favorite color. Red. And I was like, that's not a very good case. I don't anyway. My campaign rally was almost 4 years ago to the day across the street. And I had to say, when I showed up to that rally, it felt like a bit of magic in the air. It felt like a bit of history. And then that magic, that energy grew and grew over the months that followed, culminating in February 2020 in Iowa. And some of you were there with us in Iowa. Those of you who weren't there, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. But since then, there have been moments, there have been these, punctuation marks where I still felt that call of history, that energy, that sense of something special in the air, and I felt it here tonight. You all know what I mean? Woo! This is political history. This state, this country, long overdue some kind of political revitalization, realignment. People keep saying like, oh, you know, it's impossible, it can't be done. And if you look back at our history, it has happened over and over again. Yeah, we've been in a stretch that's a little bit long, so a lot of folks aren't able to remember, but it's happening right now. It's happening because of each and every one of you taking this power into your hands. And what's funny is Sara was talking about, it's like, hey, people vote. This is like easier than voting. You know what I mean? Like you go, spend 4 minutes, common sense party, change your registration, get the new card, and then this new card, then you're gonna like, you know, put it in a frame, you're gonna show it to them. You're not gonna do that, that'd be bizarre. But you're gonna take it. What you can do with that new voter registration card is you can take a picture of it and then post it online. You can post it on your social media accounts. Why was that a conversation starter? You know, people will be like, see that. And then from there, we're gonna go from our current 31, 32,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. We need a ticker. We need like a walking common sense human, like a mascot. Like, oh, keep on climbing the leaderboard until it tops 100,000, and then we're going to come back here to San Francisco and to LA and celebrate statewide that there will be a new party that actually stands for just one thing, what the people of California want to see in our communities and in our lives. You want to make that happen, San Francisco? You feel that sense of history, that energy? I do too, and it's only going to grow from here. Thank you all so much, and tell your friends in LA we're there tomorrow. Hit that music. I prefer Return of the Mag by Mark Morrison.
Mic drop, mic drop.
Here it comes.
Mic drop.
Hey.